Hello there. Title of our today's story is I, 28 female, cheated because I thought my husband, 33 male, cheated. He has left the house and has not said a single word to me. Please help. I will try to keep this as short as I can. I apologize in advance for misspellings and bad grammar. I am not from an English-speaking country originally. I am from Europe. I have been together with my husband for over 6 years. We have been married for 4 years and have a 20-month-old son together. We met through at a friend's home party and connected almost immediately. He started talking to me first. Even the first time meeting him, he was incredibly handsome, very confident, and charming. I know several of the girls, including some of my friends, wanting to talk to him when we were there, but within the first 10 minutes of arriving at the party, he came over to me. I really don't know any perfect word to use of how I felt at that moment, but if I had to pick, I felt almost chosen by him. We started dating a few days after, and the more time we started spending together, the more I started to fall for him. I have always had the feeling of him being completely out of my league, but meeting him, he never really made me feel unsure that he wanted to be with me. I knew beforehand he had been with plenty of women, but it didn't really bother me because he never spoke of it or ever mentioned it. The few times I asked him if he really wanted a relationship, or if he was sure about us, he always told me he loved me and that he does not care about other women. After 2 years, we ended up getting married. We tried having a child and got a beautiful son. He always wished to have a son and a daughter. And we were planning on having another child. I always loved my husband more than anyone can imagine. But after giving birth, I gained a bit of weight. He always told me he didn't care and that he loved me no matter what. He suggested I could start training with him. He goes to the gym at least 5 times a week, and that we could start this as an activity together. I always said yes, but we never ended up going together for several different reasons. He never got out of shape and regularly went training in the gym without trying to invite me there. As time moved on and the baby was taking most of our sex life got less and less, but he always assured me that he was still attracted to me. Most of the time, he would try to initiate sex, but I would turn it down, mostly because of myself, and because I was insecure about my body and myself around him. This is still a huge regret for me. He even told me we could leave the baby at our parents', his or mine, to get alone time, but for some reason I kept neglecting him. My self-esteem kept becoming worse and worse, and he was trying to cheer me up and encouraging me. When we would go out somewhere, I could see other women looking at him or trying to make eye contact with him, and it would bother me and I would tell him about it, and he would assure me he only loved me. One day as he came home from work, long work hours at the hospital, and he went straight to bed telling me he is exhausted. I started looking into his phone and looking in his Instagram and Messenger messages, and I could see several chats with different women, some of whom I know are his ex-girlfriends. He had been asked to go meet for a coffee or if they would want to meet up somewhere just as friends, but he always turned them down. I even saw archived messages of an ex who had messaged him out of the blue and asked if he wanted to meet up for good times, which is referring to sex. He had responded with, "I have a wife," and blocked her. I really don't know why, but in my head I started making up that he must have been cheating on me with at least one of these girls. I ended up contacting an ex-boyfriend who I hadn't talked to for years. One thing led to another, and we met up at a hotel close by. At first, I just wanted some sort of payback, but as we ended up having sex, I was filled with incredible regret. This all happened during the day, and my husband was at work and had no idea and never had a suspicion. It took me 3 days, and as he came home one day and we were in front of the television, I started crying and told him everything. He just kept looking at me but didn't say a single word, went upstairs and locked the door to our bedroom. I followed him and was crying at the door, but he didn't say a single word to me. It took him a long time, but he finally came out but immediately left the house, and I haven't heard a single word from him. He didn't even say anything to me when leaving and was not even looking at me. I've tried to call him at least hundreds of times, but he still hasn't responded, and I have no idea where he has gone. This all happened yesterday, and I haven't heard a word from him. I'm scared to contact his or my own family because I'm scared for them to find out. Please, I really don't know what to do and just want to save my marriage. I have an incredible feeling of disgust and regret, and I don't even know why I didn't trust him. I know most of this roots down in my own insecurities, but I just want my husband back. He has left me alone with our baby. How can I get in contact with him? What can I do to save my marriage? I apologize once again for bad grammar. My native language is not English, and I am crying as I write this. So, your husband is a great provider, loyal, appreciates you, and makes you feel beautiful. Even when you had all the proof that he didn't cheat, you still cheated on him anyway. Your poor husband remained faithful all those years. Even when he had a chance for a cheater, you still haven't taken any accountability. All you care about is your reputation, when your priority should be your husband. And now to the update. Hi, sorry for the lack of response on my last post, but my life has been completely ruined. I won't share any more posts on other sections, such as relationship advice and such. I've only gotten a ton of hatred both on my posts and in my inbox. To the few people who gave me real advice from the heart, I am thankful. To the rest of you, I won't reply. My life is completely ruined. I hate myself more than anything and just wish I can get my husband back. I really don't know how to move on from here. He came home for a few hours yesterday before packing up and leaving again. When he finally came home, he didn't say anything, went straight to our son, and refused to say a word to me, even though I kept crying. He told me he wanted some alone time with our son. At first, I thought he came to see our son, and later wanted to discuss, but after some time, he started packing a bag and I panicked. I started crying and begging him to stay and to talk about it. I took the advice of being completely transparent and told him I would tell him everything he asked, but he just stood up, looked at me in a disgusted, cold way, and told me, "I don't want to know anything. I know all that I need to know." Then he just went over and took some more things to put in the bag. I completely panicked and started saying I love him and will do anything to get him back. That I had stopped the sex midway because I felt guilty. In the middle of that sentence, he pushed me to the wall and held my arm and screamed, "I told you to shut the F up." I have never seen him so angry and disgusted, and for a moment I thought he would hit me, but he never did. I tried to hug him, but he refused to touch me and told me I am used and broken to him now and that he wants nothing to do with me. This completely broke me inside. I asked what this meant, and he said we will be getting divorced. The only thing he wants right now is to be able to meet our son whenever he wants. But other than that, he wants nothing to do with me. Later the same night, he called me on the phone and told me he will be contacting a lawyer and that he wants a divorce. I don't know what happens now. I've been crying constantly since this all happened. I'm having panic attacks and I can't eat or sleep. He saw me completely broken, but he still wants nothing to do with me and wants a divorce. I have so much remorse I almost feel a constant pressure in my chest and as if I'm having cramps in my stomach. I still haven't been able to contact our families, and I don't know if he has either. I am too embarrassed to do that. I just want my life back. I really can't imagine seeing a life without him or him being with another woman. My life has crashed into 1,000,000 pieces, and I'm just trying to pick them up and glue them together. Has anyone been able to convince their betrayed partner to come back? Is there anything I can do? I want to die, but can't for the sake of my son. Please, Reddit. I hate myself more than you can imagine. I know how disgusting and stupid I am, and trust me, I am paying the price. I just want advice on how I can get him back. There's nothing you can do. He is done with the marriage. The only good thing you can do now, considering the mess you've created, is to give him an uncontested divorce. All he wants is time with your son, and hopefully you will also give him that, without using your son against him. And now to the second update. Just thought I would make an update since so many people are asking me for it. Unfortunately, it won't be a good one. My now ex-husband is going through with divorce. He has not initiated it yet, but told me he is planning on doing so after New Year's. I had completely forgotten we had signed an agreement before the marriage. It's a legal agreement in my country that states he keeps what he came into the marriage with, as well as the money he earned separately during our marriage. We have had a joint account during the marriage, but he always put half his salary into a separate account that I cannot touch. This money was supposed to be for our future and our child, and since he earns at least 10 times what I earn, he kept putting money aside for us to use in the future. That money I can't touch, according to him. He told me he will split the money in our joint account and give me half, even though all of it is pretty much his. But I will not get anything more than this. Financially, I really don't know how to move on from here. I know his life will be completely fine since he earns a lot more than me, but I feel as if all our past and memories meant nothing for him. To be honest, I had completely forgotten we wrote this type of agreement in the first hand. I feel like a complete idiot, because at the time of our wedding he was not earning as much as he is now, and I know he will be making more in the future. I am at a complete loss. My life has fallen into a dark pit, and I don't know how to get out. I am starting to accept the situation more, but not even 1 to million progress mentally, I feel. A lot has happened, but I barely have any energy to write it all out. Currently, I'm only trying to figure out how I will be able to live a normal lifestyle after the divorce. Working was always an option for me because of my husband, and because he wanted to give me the freedom of doing what I wanted with my time. Now I have to plan my life and start a full-time job just to be able to afford living expenses for me and my child. Meanwhile, my now ex-husband gets to move on as if nothing has happened without any sort of financial struggles. It's as if he doesn't care even for a split second what happens to me. Sorry for the rant. I will try to answer as many questions as possible, but I don't have much more to say about my life situation. I might update in the future, but as of now, I'm not so sure what will happen. Wow. You still haven't taken any accountability and are making it seem like your husband is at fault. He is still generous, giving you half the money in the joint account. You care more about the loss of money and lifestyle than about the heartache you caused your husband. In your posts, all I hear is me, me, me. Grow up, girl. I am glad you got what you deserve. Next, the second story titled, My Betrayed Spouse Has Completely Given Up on Romantic Relationships and Love. I have been reading up stories on this sub for some time now and finally gathered enough courage to make an account and post here. I have been married to my betrayed spouse for 6 years and we have a 4-year-old daughter. I cheated on my husband, betrayed spouse, for 6 months last year with someone I met in my gaming group, and it started off as an emotional affair and became a full-blown physical affair in a matter of days. My conduct during those 6 months was nothing short of evil. Whenever my husband expressed concern that I was spending too much time on my gaming, I used to ask him to get his own hobbies and not be controlling. I was playing for 4, 6 hours every night after coming home from work, and we did not even eat meals together. I behaved pathetically during that time, but of course, I was blind to everything except my selfishness when it was going on. It went on for 6 months before my cheating was discovered. I did know this at the time, but my affair partner was a habitual cheater, and his wife was suspicious of him for a long time. She was able to get access to his gaming laptop and phone one day and found out about me. Then she went on my socials and saw my husband and messaged him about what she had found. One day, when I came home from work, my husband was waiting in the doorway, and as soon as I got out of my car, he asked me if I knew affair partner and if I was having an affair with him. I still lied to him and said he is a platonic friend in my gaming group. Then he showed me messages and pictures which affair partner's wife had sent him and looked at me with great pain and anger in his eyes. He took his keys and drove off without telling me where he was going, and he was not back till 2 days later. I was shocked because I never wanted to leave him or break up our marriage. I spent the 2 days calling all family members and crying in succession. I informed my parents and in-laws about my cheating and begged them to call my husband and make sure he was okay because he had blocked me. When he came back, he asked me to tell him everything and to not lie if there was any chance of saving our marriage. To my utter shame, I was still not 100% honest with him about my physical affair. I told him it was an emotional affair accompanied by sexting, but I never met him or had sex. What I didn't know was that he already knew, because my affair partner had confessed it to his wife. It took me 2 or 3 attempts to be completely honest with him. I now know I was trickle-truthing, but in my mind I was scared he would leave me if he knew, so I was trying to save my marriage. I understand how warped my thinking was at the time. We also attended marriage counseling for a month till my husband said he was no longer interested in going anymore. And he said our marriage is dead, but if I agreed, then we can still live together as best friends/roommates. He said if we divorce, then we have to sell our house because neither one of us is in a position to buy the other out. Our house is located in one of the best areas of our city, and it's very near to the school of our daughter, too. He proposed that he has forgiven me, and I am free to seek out partners, as long as I don't bring them home and I don't let my dating life interfere with my duties as a mother. I asked if he is also planning to date, then he laughed and said, he no longer believes in romantic love, but he still has great love for me as a friend and as the mother of his child. I was shocked to hear him say it, and I asked repeatedly if he wants an open relationship, but he said no. This was almost 5 months ago, and he has been true to his word. He no longer asks me about my day or anything about the cheating, but on the other hand, we still spend time together as a family fairly often. We sleep in the same bed, but he never touches me. He is never angry or upset or fights with me. I'm heartbroken at what has happened to him. I'm trying my best to show him that what happened will never happen again. I am in individual counseling. I no longer play any video games, and I have offered complete transparency when it comes to my devices. But he says it is not necessary, and I should just live my life. If I find someone I really like, then he would agree to a divorce without a fight. That's what he says. But I don't want anyone but him. I want to share with him, my progress in individual counseling and what I am uncovering about myself, but he is not interested. I am sorry for such a long post, but I wanted to be completely transparent before asking advice. Is there any hope for us? I do not mind how long it takes, but I just want to be with him and no one else. Is there anything else I can do? You can't do anything. It's over. The moment you cheated, and your lying and trickled truth solidified it. He's done with the marriage. He's checked out mentally and physically. He's just there for your kid and will leave when he has the resources. Your husband was betrayed by the person he thought he could rely on. He'll have a hard time trusting anyone. Don't hope for a reconciliation. And that's it for today. Dear viewers, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you never miss out. Until next time, bye.